What's up, peoples, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm just sort of jumping right into the video. There's no real preamble, except for the preamble that's happening right now, because I just wanted to do something chill and laid back. I'm just going to go through some books that I've read. I can give you some recommendations, and I'm going to be ranking every book in my room from 1 to 5 stars. Pretty simple premise. Now, some of my books I have already ranked, so I'll be ignoring them, like Nona the Ninth and the ones that I've been reading this year. I have already put on my ranking list. But I have a ton of comic books and things from before that I haven't talked about at all. First up, we have to talk about Saga. Oh, I love these books so much, as you can maybe tell by the amount of them that I have. Ugh. These were actually the books that got me into comic book writing and made me want to be a writer. I cannot recommend them enough. They get 5 stars for sure. Okay, so then we have Descender. Okay. Descender is, here I can just read you the premise. 10 years after planet-sized robots called Harvesters appeared and wreaked havoc across the galaxy, a young android named Tim 21 wakes to find that all robots have been outlawed. But Tim may hold the secrets to the Harvesters in his machine DNA, and he quickly becomes the most wanted robot in the universe. With bounty hunters and threats lurking at every turn, Tim embarks on a mind-blowing adventure through the stars along with his robot dog, Bandit, and the lumbering mining droid, Driller. This is a very good book. This is a sci-fi, sort of like, robots, space adventures, that sort of thing. But what I found was really interesting is it has a sequel series called Ascender, and that is a fantasy. And they sort of get to explore like classic sci-fi stuff and classic fantasy stuff all in the same series, which I thought was really interesting, having these worlds that are able to translate into both. So they are sort of separate, but they're very connected. So I'll put them on my list separately. Descender, I would say I give 4.5 stars. And Ascender, I would give 4 stars. I like Descender a little bit more. Next, we have Black Science, but I'm still currently reading that, so I will give you my thoughts on that in a different video. So let's mark these down on my little list. I've begun using Notion to keep track of my books, and I'm using Leonie Crystal's Book Hub template. It's amazing. I love it. I've given it some minor modifications based off of the sort of content that I make, but the main template is still the same. I will link her channel in the description if you want bookish content. I don't do very much of it on my channel, but I absolutely love reading and I absolutely love watching her videos. They're amazing. I definitely suggest her content. There we go. Now we can move on to the next shelf in my room. And that is my Star Wars shelf. Wow. Okay. Now there's, five different comics that I've read. So first up we have Darth Vader. Now, most of them have very similar names, so I'll show you the precise cover. Darth Vader, this one. This is my favorite Star Wars comic I've probably read. It is amazing. It's the one that got me into Star Wars comics. It's just really well written, and it introduces one of my all-time favorite characters, Dr. Aphra. So, definitely 5 stars. Then we also have Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith. Different cover. I liked this one, but it didn't have me gripped the same way that the other one did. I think because this Darth Vader felt like a story, like a cohesive story, whereas this one felt more like episodic. I don't know. I think I also just liked the Darth Vader voice of this one a little bit more, but Darth Vader's awesome in all of them. I would probably give this one 3.5 stars. Then we have Star Wars. Now, this comic is sort of hard to find, to look up, because it's literally just called Star Wars. So that's why The cover is this. The first one is Skywalker Strikes. I would give this comic 3 stars as well. I enjoy it, but there are many issues that I don't care about. It's very much like you're all over the place with different bits of the rebellion. Some of them I think are awesome. Like, I love Scar Squadron. Some cool bad guys that get introduced. If you want to see stormtroopers actually being good at their job, this is the comic for you. But at the same time, there will be other issues, like where we just spend a whole time with Yoda, that I'm just not really as invested in. Not because it's bad, just because I'm a character-driven reader, and once in a while there will be a character that I'm like, ooh, this is awesome, and sometimes there will be a character that I don't really care about in the same way. I love Yoda, but I don't know if I'd read a book about Yoda. So sometimes it's like a hit or miss. It's either great or I don't really care. I have not finished reading all of these, so I'm going to put that in the currently reading section. But for now, I'd say it probably gets 3 stars. Next, we have Dr. Aphra. This is the run from, oh, I don't know the date. It's the first one. It's got this cover. I'm sorry. With comics that are like this, like published by Marvel or DC, it's really hard because there's so many different runs and so many different writers take on these characters. But for the Dr. Aphra set that starts with this cover, so descriptive. I love these so much. 5 stars. 5 stars. I plan to do a video talking about what you can learn from these actually, because I think they're so well written and they're really compelling. And I really loved getting to know all these new original characters that aren't in the movies and the shows because it's a spin-off comic. These are amazing. Like, I cannot recommend them enough. And then we have the other Dr. Aphra series, which I'm still reading. Starts with this cover. These are the more recent ones, I believe, and I am greatly enjoying them. I liked the original ones more, personally, but this is still very good. I haven't finished it yet. Right now, I'd probably give it 4 stars, not 5, but that could change once it concludes. I'm not sure. So let's go mark those down, shall we? And then don't worry, I'm done with the Star Wars talk. I know that a lot of people who follow me actually are not Star Wars fans, and while that does sadden me, I can accept that some people might not care as much about rogue archaeologists as I do. Now, I added all of those on there, and we can talk about the next set. These are the comics that don't have a home because I'm out of shelves, and so live in my desk. And this is the first of them. This is a stack of Amulet books. I actually have the last one on the floor over here. I haven't read it yet. I'm not going to rate Amulet because I haven't read that one because I haven't read these in so long. I need to do a reread. So I'm going to note Amulet on my to be read. I really like tracking my reading now. One day I would like to have some sort of a reading channel just for fun, or maybe I'll post that sort of content on my Patreon, which I'm hoping to launch by the beginning of next year. I enjoy making that sort of content. It doesn't have a place on this channel very often. The only reason I'm talking about it this time is because I needed a quick video that I could make in an afternoon. These books were by the same author who wrote Saga. I've read 3 of his series now because I love his writing, and I liked them, but they weren't really my vibe quite as much as his other stuff. There's a lot of like pop culture references, and I don't get any of them because I'm not tapped into culture. And just good, but I didn't love, whereas the other series of his I've loved, and they're like my favorites. So I'm gonna give these 3.5. No, I did really like Elements. I'm gonna give them 4 stars. 4 stars, or no, I'm gonna give them 3.5 stars. They're good, but they weren't really my thing. So it was, I guess, sci-fi? It was sort of like a sci-fi contemporary. It has like a dystopian. Is that what that is? Now we have, next in our stack, Zeta the Space Girl. These are pretty much like any age, whereas a lot of the other stuff that I read and is on this list is more like 16 plus at least. But these are just like, they're fun. They're pretty much age appropriate for like, I'd say 8 and up. I check online though, because I don't remember exactly what age I was when I read these. They're about a girl who gets lost in space and her adventures. And I will give them, I'm gonna go with 3.5 stars. They're pretty good for what they are, but it's not like something I'm going to reread a lot. When I was younger, I loved them, but I've sort of outgrown them a little bit. So next we have Bad Island. Another one for younger readers, though it's just a fun book. It's not like, I'm one of those people who's just sort of like, if it's good, just read it. Doesn't matter what age it's for. Bad Island is about a family who gets stranded on a very bad island. And it's just sort of like a standalone fun thing. Once again, I'd say 3 stars. Okay, let's see what is next on the list. Why do I have so many books? On to the list. Top of the list is Miss Marvel. This was the first superhero comic I ever finished. And for that reason, it is getting, I'm giving it 4 stars. I really enjoyed these. I really did. They had, no, I'm going back to 3.5. There were some issues that I was just sort of confused by. But I'm also not a superhero comic reader, so it's totally possible that was just because there was some stuff that I didn't understand because of context. Next is Lumberjanes. I loved these at one point. I read these probably when I was like 14. They are about a summer camp for girls, and there's some magic-y stuff happening in the woods. I loved the first one. I liked the second one. I have always been leaned more on the side of please have the final twist be creepy, and I don't know if this lived up to that for me. I'm gonna say that this is 3 stars. I liked it, but it's not something I'm gonna return to. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right when I say Isola. This is sort of like, I guess I describe it as sort of atmospheric and artsy. Like, the art is stunning. And the story is very vibey, but I never bought the next one. It wasn't like I felt a need to know what happened next. I just sort of thought, that was cool. Some of them grip you and some of them don't. Okay, this is actually horror. I got creeped out by it, so I did not finish. Well, I did finish it, but I did not get the next one. It had potential. Like, I thought that the world was interesting and the magic was interesting and the art was amazing and the vibes were cool and creepy, but like, because I couldn't read the others, it was, I don't know, it was a little bit too creepy for me at the time. But you know what? I'm older now. I read this when I was a lot younger. There's a chance I would be able to handle it now. So I'm not going to rate it because I don't really know what I would think of it now without being scared and being able to actually finish the series. So I'm going to put it in currently reading and maybe get the next one. I might also do that with Isola. Yeah, I'm not going to rate it yet because I didn't finish it and the vibes were cool and maybe I should get back to them. We'll return to those. So next we have Invisible Kingdom. This is like, I actually talk about this in my recent LGBTQ+ book recommendations video. It's sci-fi, like hardcore sci-fi, but with a little bit of a fantasy vibe at times. And the concept is basically that the world's most dominant religion is discovered to be sort of like conspiring with this all-powerful mega corporation. There is a space nun and a space captain, and they have to decide whether they want to tell people or not, whether they want to shake things up. I liked it, but I didn't love it as much as I wanted to. I still think it's good, and I suggest reading it because the art is stunning. I thought that the concept was cool. I thought the art was cool. I thought the scenes were cool. But I think that I just didn't really connect with the characters that much. But I didn't have an intense need to know what was happening to the characters. So I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. Am I like a hardcore book critic? I really expected to be one of those people who gives everything 5 stars, but I'm not. Okay, I'm a little bit disappointed by that. Then we have Batgirl of Burnside. which I enjoyed but never finished, so I don't know why. I'm going to put that in currently reading because I never finished it. And maybe I will read that and finish it sometime. So next we have this last, oh wait, no, it's not the last stack. There's one more stack after this stack. I just forgot about because it's on the floor. Gravity Falls Lost Legends. I'm not going to rate this one because it's sort of like an add-on to a show, which I give 5 stars. So it's almost like I just put it in with the show, if that makes sense. This is a role-playing game. This is a role-playing game. This I can rate. Baba Yaga's Assistant. This is a standalone YA graphic novel. I enjoyed this when I was younger and I read it. But now you know the spiel. Just because I'm giving it 3 stars doesn't mean it's bad. This is a role-playing game. Oh, by the way, Baba Yaga's Assistant is about a girl who becomes Baba Yaga's assistant. It's fairly self-explanatory. Another Gravity Falls thing. This is a choose your own adventure. I loved it because I love Gravity Falls. This is a choose your own adventure role-playing game. A Wrinkle in Time. I read the graphic novel version, not the novel version. Because, I don't know, I just got the graphic novel version, and then later I was supposed to read the novel for school, but I'd already read this, so I was like, oh, I sort of already did read it. I'm pretty sure that this is like a word-for-word copy, too. Like, it's really, really similar. So I'm pretty sure that this would be sci-fi, and would it be classic? Classic literature? I'm putting in classic literature. I don't know if it would be, though. I'm gonna give this 3.5 stars. It was cool. I enjoyed it. I just don't think it's my kind of book quite as much. It's more like conceptual. Like, the ideas were cool, and I liked that, but, like, I didn't care super much about the characters. Again, I'm just such a character person. It's not these books' fault, it's just some of them are made for character readers and some of them aren't, and I'm just a character reader. Next, last thing in this list is The Last Kids on Earth. I was obsessed with this when I was little because I love zombies and post-apocalyptic stuff, but I can't handle most post-apocalyptic stuff because I can't do gore and I can't do scary. This was like a kid's version. And when I say little, I mean like 12, 14. 2.5 stars. It was good, I liked it. I probably liked it less than some of the other 3-star stuff though. We're gonna talk about these. I've recently started reading this new Teen Titans set, which I've been enjoying, but I would put, well, I guess, I won't judge them until I've finished it. So I'll put that in currently reading. Then you have Bone, which I would, Bone. Bone is, I haven't read that in so long, but I do remember enjoying it. My sister loves those books. I'm gonna give them 3.5 stars, because I did like them. But again, it's like just not something that I'm gonna reread or would like want posters of on my wall or something like that. Now we get into more 5-star book territory. We have Seven to Eternity, which is one of the few just fantasy series that I have on this list. And they are amazing. So these I'm giving them 4 stars. They are sort of about like choices, and it's got a lot of plot twists. What makes you the bad guy? Really cool magic system. Super cool. I've recommended them before. Definitely look up Seven to Eternity if you were a Lord of the Rings fan. I don't know, it feels like comic book Lord of the Rings to me a little bit. Now we also have Paper Girls, which is a sci-fi time travel story by Brian K. Vaughan, same writer who did Saga and Y the Last Man, and the book series that made me a fan of his. 5 stars. Check those out if you have some 80s nostalgia, or if you don't and you just like time travel, sci-fi, and cool female protagonists. Next, we have Middle West, which I have not finished yet. I will talk more about that once I have finished it. I've read the first 2 books so far and have enjoyed them, but maybe not been obsessed with them. I'm gonna wait to pass any final judgments till I've finished it. Next up, we have Blackbird. Now, I absolutely love the artist, which is why I bought this. I think that the colors are wonderful and vibrant and beautiful. Don't know if I loved the story quite as much. I think it had potential, but I just don't know. It's like I don't really care about any of the characters. I don't really like them. And I think that maybe that's just because it didn't get to be finished. Maybe that's just because I wasn't supposed to, or I don't know. It's hard to judge when a series doesn't get to continue beyond just 6 issues. Like it doesn't get a conclusion. It wasn't bad so much as it just wasn't like especially good. So I'm gonna give it 2 stars. And then the last thing is Coda, which I also did not finish. So I don't feel like I can give too many thoughts on it, but I don't really intend to finish it. So it's sort of like a DNF. It gives me the vibe of a D&D game about a bard who's also a rogue and steals things. The world is awesome. I can say that much. I just didn't, again, click with any of the characters. And I think that that's all of them. So, thank you for watching this long, not really, there wasn't much of a point to this video, so much as I just talked about books. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this very rambly video. I just needed something, like I said, more chill and laid back for this time around because I'm working on the 3-part Dragon Prince series that I'm doing on my channel right now, and those have been taking up all my energy. I spent like 2 hours editing 10 minutes of one earlier, so, you know, fun. Honestly, it is. I really like making those sorts of videos, analysis videos. And hopefully there's a book on here that interested you, and let me know what you've been reading down in the comments. I'd love to know. I'm really back in my book era, and I'm loving reading. Let me know if you'd also like more book content. Next time it will be more planned out and thoughtful. And I will see you in the next video. Till then.